most of y'all should know the man on the screen. Some of y'all might not. Just before we get into this, like I'm gonna give you just a brief synopsis on who he is if you don't know, man. It's a rapper named Cameron. He is one of the flyest, meaning best dressed, and just best lifestyle, all that stuff. What you think of like Andrew Tate, he was that as a rapper in the 2000s. Like just mad fly, had all the girls, very cool, trendsetter. People wanted to be him. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not about to get on this internet and cap. He was somebody I definitely looked up to, and he definitely influenced not just my style, but like so many teens' styles in the 2000s, bro. Like I definitely picked some things up off of him and the Diplomats and things like that. The Diplomats is his group. If you know Jim Jones, you know Joel Santana, you know he was the leader of the clique that they were in. If you don't, then now you know. I'm kind of mad I had to explain that, like, because I know I'm not in a hip hop space. So you might have cats who just listen to like smooth jazz or bluegrass who have no idea who he is. So now we're just going to pretend everybody is caught up. So we're going to get to a clip in a moment. But remember I said in the 2010s, he was one of the flyest, and one of the things he was known for was having a bunch of babes and stuff like that. And that's just what he did. That's just who he was. You know, fast life dude. He had some funny groupie stories. Even on his current show, like, you know, Talk with Flea, he'll tell stories about his previous sex escapades. I had to slow down and say that because the last time I messed up and I was going to keep the take, but I dropped the F-bomb. Can't do that this early in the video. But listen, he is just a wild dude who lives, or he was, that lives a single life and just be running through chicks, right? Just running through chicks. He also used to be a drug dealer, and even when he was a rapper, he was running with street dudes, like certified street dudes. So with all of that being said, you know, that's the lifestyle that he comes from. But when you see that type of activity, you know, you wonder, this is what most people wonder, when will you grow out of that? You know, when will you when will you stop wearing like, you know, the young people clothes and stuff like that? And when you gonna get into like, you know, the older people clothes and wear turtlenecks every day and suits and stuff like that? Like, and I Googled dad sandals to get this picture, but when you gonna, you know, stop sparking the weed and hanging out on the block, and when you gonna, you know, trade all that stuff in, trade your Timbs in for some dad sandals and actually get on the grill instead of burning the blunt on the block? Now, I want you to understand something. This is not my perspective. And I know I said you start wondering or whatever, but this is not my perspective. This is the perspective of society as far as, you know, how you should change and your dressing and change and how you act, and it's XYZ, XYZ. And this status right here is a viral status that a lot of people share and act like it's theirs, but this embodies, you know, the black communities like, oh man, you got to stop with that rap urban culture stuff when you hit a certain age. You know, it says niggas be pushing 40 still trying to rap. Nigga, it's time for jazz. That crying emoji is like a laughing emoji. So in the black community, we don't really accept people like dressing urban or doing XYZ that is similar to, you know, what the youth is doing, or, you know, what they were doing when they were young, as far as people in their 30s and 40s and stuff like that. And that is attached to an even bigger belief that, okay, you should be, you know, for women, it's like, okay, you should be married by 30 and, you know, da 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 da. Or even for men, you know, you should be married by a certain age as well. And there are certain things in general that we associate with immaturity this society feels like older people shouldn't be doing. A perfect example of that is going to the club. You know, it's in reality, you could go to the club at 60 if you want. And if you have a fun time, you have a fun time. It's cool. If they accept you, it's cool, whatever, whatever. But from the outside of your perspective, there are going to be a lot of people who think you don't belong there and that you are childish for being there. So I say all that to say, I got a clip of Cameron that is kind of going viral. I know we a little bit deep, but just to give you some insight, I just wanted to prep you for the clip. And also, I wanted to let it rip with the curse words. And if I do that in the first minute or 2 minutes, like, they gonna flag the video, bro. So We gonna let it rip now.
Hold on. He said he caught one of your joints. That was the funny part about it. He said, yeah, and I caught one of your joints too, nigga. Somebody that you love. You remember
The
that?
thing is, I don't love none of these bitches. Ain't no bitch I can tell me I love them. Not today. I don't love none of these hoes. See, that's niggas' problem too. Y'all be in love. I don't be in love. Nigga, I got the over and under rule. Get over a bitch, get under the next one. I don't care about these hoes, man. Never did, nigga. That's my problem now. I be telling niggas all the time, I envy niggas who in love. Because I don't get me wrong, I would love to be in love. I can't find the right joint. Toes fucked up. Credit score ain't good. You ain't got no job. You don't know when to go home. I can't go to your house. If I go to your house, it's uncomfortable. Yo, pardon my kids. Yo, it's just too much. I'm looking, man. Listen, I'm looking for love. But as far as catching one of my joints, they not my joints. And if they told you they was my joints, they lied. They may have been my joint for 3 days because they's at my house. Once you leave, you gone. Get time together. Our time together is our time together. Our time apart is our time apart. I don't love no bitches. Sorry. My mother, my aunt, my cousins. I don't love these hoes. And not to cut you off real quick before we get to that. Some bitches that he fucked came to my crib and I found that out and I kicked them bitches out.
Now, there are multiple points that I want to touch on, but the first thing I have to mention is that Cameron is 49 years old. Don't love no hoes. 49 years old. Then I also want to point out that video right there at the bottom, because I did 2 important videos, but that video, dating advice for bachelors, that is a good video that you should watch that I made, because this is a good look at, somebody who was successful with women their whole life. Like, he done talked on this show about, running trains in his teenage years on fiends and stuff like that, because he was like, a young drug dealer back. I don't even think he was dealing drugs at that point. He was just like young and wild on the block. He was playing basketball and stuff, but him and Mace was tag teaming chicks and stuff like that, and they was just really trying to get babes all the time. So from adolescence all the way to 49, just cracking babes. That's what he's been doing most of the time. We're going to talk about his relationship a little bit that he had, but I just want to lay all of that out first. So he is a good example of what I talk about in that second video of Forever Bachelor. And one of the things that I warn you about around the end of that video, you should watch it still, is basically dying alone and not having somebody there for you when you get in old age and stuff like that. Now, the good thing for him is that he has at least a kid, if not kids, but we're not going to go deep on that. I just wanted to, stick that point in there because that's a part of the other video that I did, because the whole point of that video is, okay, do you want to be a bachelor forever? So this is what I imagine it looks like for me seeing different things as far as different bachelors, older and older, and even then I'm a bachelor right now, so it just is what it is, and I'm pushing 40. So now that we did all the housekeeping and we got all that out of the way, your man's, we just got to go back to this. Your man's is 49. Like the whole Snoop Dogg, I don't love them hoes, and the Dr. Dre, bitches ain't shit, and all that stuff. Like, them niggas was married when they was making them songs. Them niggas had girlfriends and they was married, and Snoop became a fake pimp and stuff like that. So usually rappers be lying about who they are for entertainment. And the people believe, what they're selling them, and it can actually influence the youth into negative stuff. But we not getting that deep. Cameron, really, this is really who he is. This is really how he living. This is really how he been living. So the faking that them niggas is doing, talking about bitches ain't shit, but got like they in a loving relationship with their wife, and then, when Nipsey Hussle died, niggas get on the motherfucking, oh, Black Queens is the greatest thing since sliced bread. Nigga, your rap career says otherwise, nigga. Because you was pimping black women, and you was telling all of us the bitches ain't shit, And it ain't no fun if the homies can't have none. And yes, I'm talking about Snoop. But yeah, he's really living this lifestyle. He is cracking women in his old age, and he is, I'm not going to say he's not interested in commitment. He looks at the women that he attracts and that he pursues as unworthy of commitment. That's his viewpoint based on what he said. He don't love no hoes. Now, this is the thing. When you have certain people, like, and I always mention the super player and stuff like that. As far as like an archetype of man, like when you younger, like when you in your teen years, when you in your 20s, especially, like you got those dudes who are super players, and this is actually how they feel. And this is the stuff that they'll say amongst their friends and stuff like that. As far as bitches ain't shit and all this shit like that, but they won't really say it to the babe, but they might call the babe a bitch or whatever. Brent Faiyaz, he got something that just happened that I might cover or might not, to where like some sex worker tried to expose him because she was getting hit by his whole team. She was getting hit by his whole team, and she talking about, oh, he stopped messing with me because I didn't want to be a sex slave for the team. You already sucked up everybody. What are you talking about? But the reason I brought up his situation is because he was talking to her Greasy, and one of the things that she said that I'm gonna highlight whenever I do the video, if I do it, is, fame is really MF is really a motherfucker, because if my boyfriend talked to me like that, or any man talked to me like that, like I'm clocking them, I'm punching them in they shit. But she tolerated it because of who he was. But getting back to Cameron, after making all those points, he's talking like this out in the open on a big platform. Like, chicks is gonna see this everywhere. They've been seeing it. When you mess with Cameron, you already know what it is, because you should know who he is and you should know what he about. That's just what it is. So like, you expect this. You expect this out of a lot of young like players and stuff like that in their 20s and their teen years. You can even expect it in your 30s. Shit, you can even expect it to some point in your 40s. But the one thing that you don't expect, I'm gonna just keep it so real, and I got videos about the mail wall and all types of shit. Nobody, and I'm gonna say this two ways. No man that I know, that I've talked to, like I don't think most men expect to still be playing the field in their 50s. I don't, like, even if you're not thinking about marriage, like I don't think most dudes expect to be playing the field when they 50. In your 20s, you just don't, like, you don't think like, yeah, I'm gonna be smashing chicks in my 50s, like, and I'm gonna just still be running through them. I'll give you a perfect example of that. Remember I talked about rappers who just be saying shit? There's a rapper named Lil Herb, or G Herbo now. He was like 16, and he had a line that I absolutely loved at the time. MOB, I'll never love a bitch. I'm gonna be that way until I'm 46. Even when, bruh, it's so poetic, because even at 16, he didn't say 56, he didn't say 66, he didn't say 97. This nigga said 46. Think about that. He didn't even go over 50. Like, he just, okay, it just rhymes, so he just said 46. He was just thinking, okay, 46, it rhymes. Love a bitch, 46. He could have said 56, because it don't even, if you know how to rap, like, it don't even match up that well, honestly, syllable by syllable. But at 16, he said 46. So that accounts for one point that I already made. And I didn't even have this lined up to, like, say this, but it just lined up so perfect. Number one, nobody expects to be a bachelor at 50. Like, nobody expects to still be cracking babes, or still trying to go on dates or pursue women, or like, buy a chick a drink. Nobody expects that at 50, especially in their 20s. So that's the first thing. But the second thing is, he didn't even make it to 22. Like, he got with Ari Fletcher, like his baby mom, who he turned into a famous Insta thought or whatever. Like, he got with her when he was like, remember he did that song when he was like 16. He got with her when they was like 19, 20, 21 at the latest. And when he got out of that toxic relationship, he got into another relationship with Fabulous, daughter. And they got kids, and he got kids with the other chick, Ari. Them chicks get along. She did Ari cooking show and stuff like that. So it's like his baby moms get along. He got kids by both of them. And that goes back to the rappers just be talking. They don't be living what they actually say. They just be talking, bro. They just be saying anything. Now, the thing about him, he said that when he was a boy. So I'm not going to hold his feet to the fire like fucking Snoop, who made a whole career off being a fucking fake pimp and selling niggas all this shit. Oh, nigga, nephew, da-da-da-da-da, yeah, because bitches ain't shit, but a black queen is so fucking, like, motherfucker. Oh, my goodness. I ain't gonna lie, before we continue, when he got on a Nipsey Hussle stage and said that black queen stuff, and I don't got nothing against black women, man. Like, I don't care what you see in the videos or nothing like I don't got nothing against black women. But when you see me speak on them, whatever I'm saying is real. That's just what it is. But he said that black queens, like, black, behind every strong man, it's a black queen. I don't got no problem with anybody saying that, bro. If that's what you want to believe, that's cool. Like, even in a whole, like, behind every strong man, there's a strong woman. Behind every great man, there's a great woman or strong woman, whatever the case is. Like, that's a whole nother just belief by itself that I have a gripe with. But if that's something you want to believe, that's cool. Coming from him, you built your whole shit off bitches ain't shit and pimping black bitches and smutting them out and degrading them. And then this motherfucker had the nerve when he got, like, it was a few years ago, to talk about somebody like Cardi B when she did WAP, which you already know, which I don't know if you know. I don't like Cardi B because she was drugging men when she was a stripper. She is unapologetic for it. And Bernie Sanders and fucking Kamala Harris still felt compelled to have her come out and represent them during their election runs, which is fucking wild to me. And that also highlights how male victims, like, we just not shit in America. Like, nobody gives a fuck about a male victim. When the aggressor or the person in fault, whatever you want to call them, the attacker, whatever it may be, is a female especially. So yeah, I don't like Cardi B, but he was talking about how WAP was just too graphic and it was too da-da-da-da-da. My nigga, you built your foundation off pimping. You were in a fucking porno. Doggy Style was a porno. You did a porno, bro. That's what you did with your brand. You can't talk about how raunchy motherfuckers is. Like, look, you might be right, but you not the nigga to say it. Anyway, I could literally do a whole video on Snoop by itself, bro. And I just might on all the bitches ain't shit rappers, because the thing about those niggas is they fucking fake. But anyways, let's backtrack quite a bit. To Cameron. So again, nobody expects to be doing that when they're 50, but he's about to be in his 50s doing that. That's where he's about to be. So the second major point that we have to go into is that he said he envies people who are in love. He envies people who are in love, and he would like to be in love. Most guys who are in player positions, you're not going to get a chance to see them say that. You got Bo Rafek on here. He said that he smashed countless babes and stuff like that. He said that, but he got tired of it and he advocates against it. That's what he does. You got other people like Andrew Tate who fucking pimp bitches out. Like, he was actively pimping bitches out when he was saying this stuff. But he'll say stuff about, the family unit and how he want a wife or whatever the case may be, or he want, like, one woman, whatever the case may be. And he pushes for family and stuff like that. That's what he pushes for. But then you got somebody like Dan Bilzerian who actually, he was smashing a bunch of chicks and he had that epiphany himself, and he actually walks the walk because he got married, I'll give you even another one. Julian Blanc, if you know the whole RSD pickup artist shit, he had a big scandal, when he was like humping Japanese chicks, dry humping them in the fucking public in Japan. He got on CNN and it was all crazy and stuff like that. He had like a little meltdown behind the scenes, I guess. That's what he says. He rebranded. He's good now. He's 100% good. But like, I'm talking about like 10 years ago type shit. He got married. He got married out of nowhere, bruh. He stopped trying to smash a bunch of chicks and he got married. Now, he could have got I don't know. He could have got married on some real shit. He could have got married on some it's good for the look shit. I don't know, dog. I don't know. It's hard for me to believe that he is a pickup artist would get married for the look. So I don't think that's the case at all. So when you could see a bunch of guys, right, who have smashed, they have done the Million Woman March. They have smashed all these chicks, like countless chicks. When you see all these dudes, saying stuff like, oh man, it's not worth it. Oh man, after the first 10, 20 bodies, you really don't need more because, you learned everything you need to learn and da 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 da. It's nothing after that. Oh, it gets so redundant. It gets tiresome. You just get tired of messing with hoes, whatever. All of the guys that I mentioned, all of them, they have similar stances to some degree. But Cameron is the only one out of all of them that I've ever heard say they envy people that are in love. So if you are MGTOW, that's nothing to think about. But if you are somebody who, you're just temporarily putting chicks off, or even if you are somebody who is just running through them like a finish line, that is something to think about. That is something to think about. And I'm talking about people who are younger than 49 or even 45. If you are younger than that, it's something to think about. Because it seems like a place that most guys end up. Now, listen, I'm going to bring this up, and we're not going to be long on this part, but he had a girl named Juju. He had a girl named Juju, and when you get in the comments, you always see people in comments on posts like this talking about, and it's not even people, it's really just girls, it's really just women. They talk about how he wasted 10 years of her life because they were in a 10-year relationship and he didn't marry her. And what you see on the screen is that she didn't like his social media activity, and that's what led to him stepping away from her. That's what led to him stepping away from her, or vice versa, whatever the case may be. It seemed like he was the one who stepped away, when everything was going down. And that's what everybody was on. It was like, oh man, this cat, he wasted 10 years of her life. He ain't give her no ring, nothing like that. And if you look at the thing that I had on the screen, they had met in '02, right? They got together in '08. You got to remember, MySpace came out in '04. Facebook came out in like '04. MySpace might have been out before that, but that's when like it began to bubble, right? So social media didn't become what we know it as today, to where, you can have crazy activity on social media until like 2011, 12-ish, when Instagram came out, but also 2009 when Twitter came out. So she left him in 2017, which social media is pretty much what it is right now. It was the same thing by 2017 for the most part. But it's so crazy that the thing that could break the relationship could be something that wasn't even around for real when y'all first got in the relationship. That's crazy. But he didn't thug it out with her. He didn't figure, oh, this is 10 years of a relationship. We should work this out. I guess that was his breaking point. It's not my relationship, but, that was it. 10 years, forget about it. It's over. He went back to the streets, and now he's back to cracking bitches at 49. So maybe he should have thugged it out with her. Maybe he shouldn't have. I don't know. But the one thing I'm certain about, for the most part, just from knowing him as a personality, not like I know him in person, but just from knowing him as a personality, he's not going back. He's not going back. So the last thing that I'm going to touch on is him noting that the women that he comes across are not qualified. They're not qualified. It's just too much going on to where it's just not going to work. And I'm not even going to quote nothing he said, but it's just really this simple, man. We are a part of this community. You already know what it is, man. Y'all know what the wall is and stuff like that. The older a chick gets, the more baggage she is certain to have. And I don't really look at a chick not having, XYZ as red flags and stuff like that. I really don't look at that. That's not on my list of red flags. But I will say, when we get to 40, if you haven't had a kid, I'm not saying that's a red flag at all. I'm just saying that is something questionable to look at. Because the way that it works for most women be having fucking kids, man. Remember, I'm in my mid-30s. When I was in my mid-20s, you could find chicks in my age bracket. I'm talking about just my personal experience right now. I could find chicks in my age bracket who didn't have kids, but a lot of them had kids. When you get to 30, oh my goodness, that whatever that percentage is, it drastically drops when it comes to women who don't have kids. It drastically drops. Now, if you going in looking for chicks in their 20s and stuff like that, they still there. But guess what? The ones that you looking at that don't got kids, man, I try to avoid telling certain stories, man, but I will say, without getting into detail, man, like it was one chick, man. I could really say two, but it was really one for real, who had a kid, bro. And I'm not going to say the relationship or nothing like that, but bro, like when she had a kid, I was like, oh, you fucked up. You fucked it up. You really fucked it up. Because guess what? The guy that she had the kid with, they didn't last a year. They didn't last a year. And that's how a lot of this shit goes, man. These chicks be having anybody's baby, bro. They will have a baby by anybody. If a guy is capable of having sex with them, they will have the the guy's baby. And let me shed light on how deep this gets. Prostitutes will have a trick's baby. And I know some pimp somewhere is like clutching his fucking pimp cane, like, oh nigga, not none of my hoes sterile, nigga. My hoes. I've seen this shit, bro. Trust me when I tell you, a nigga could be paying to hit it, and this nasty bitch is letting him hit raw. She's going to have that baby because bitches will have anybody's baby. And then she mad if the dude not trying to take care of it and shit like that. Chicks will have a one-night stand baby. So with me saying that, if you got a chick who make it to 40 without no kids, again, it's not a red flag to me, but the reason is questionable. I know you've been fucking. Let's just cut the bullshit. You have been fucking for the past 30 years. Have you been getting a lot of abortions? Are you just infertile? Have you taken more Plan Bs than you should have? Did you get your eggs scrambled by the IED or whatever they call that shit, Because Melissa Ford talked about something like that. The little implant that they do really just killed everything. These are two that you won't hear people talk about. Did you lose custody of your kids or abandon your kids and you just don't even care about them and you act like they don't exist? Because that happens. Trust me, that happens. Or, and this is the worst one, Did you have a child that died? Now that could go a few ways. Kid could have had an illness. There's nothing you could do about that. But the kid could have also died because of negligence or just bad parenting or even worse, abuse. Imagine if Casey Anthony wasn't famous and you just thinking, oh yeah, this is another hot white chick or whatever. Oh, she's hot. And you smashing and you locking in with her and, little do you know, this chick done had a whole trial. She done killed her baby. She went out. She was part of all this stuff. So she's not fit to be a good mother at all. But that's the only reason I look at not having kids at 40 plus. It's questionable. Again, not a red flag because those last two situations are pretty unlikely. But when we talk about kids, you already know all the pitfalls of kids. I don't got to get into that, man. You already know you might have to deal with different baby dads. If you're dealing with a 40-year-old chick, like one of them kids, if not all of them kids, going to be big as fuck. They not going to respect you. If you really try and lock in with her or nothing like that, you're going to have to fight for your respect. You can't discipline them, all that shit. You already know all the bullshit that come with. Then the truth is, when we talk about older women, which I should make a video on this, they like to do these like manipulation games. When older men talk about dating younger women, they do either just shame to where they'll do shit like say you're a pedophile for being 48 messing with a 25-year-old. They will call you a pedophile even though that's a grown ass woman. Or what they do is they lay out the whole like, oh, you like to manipulate young women. You just trying to get her because you manipulate da 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 da. They'll never address the fact that they are very uncooperative. They're jaded. They don't really want to cater to a man. They don't just have baggage as far as kids and baby dads, but they also got more mental and emotional baggage from the other dudes that they have been with in a romantic life and sex life that they have lived through those, 40, 35, 52 years, whatever the case may be. They'll never own up to any of that. And then on top of all of that, the big elephant in the room that you'll never hear women address is that they are physically less attractive than a chick that's in their 20s or early 30s. So when you look at that, if you still got some juice and you still trying to do like he doing and fuck around, you're more than likely going to be aiming for younger chicks, like, in their early 30s, early mid 30s, possibly just through the whole 30s when you're 50 and stuff like that, and possibly anywhere from 25 and up. Who knows, man? There's some dudes, they'll probably even date a 20-year-old, whatever the case may be. I don't know. I'm not about to advocate for being 50, dating chicks in their 20s. If that's what you want to do, that's cool, but I'm not about to push people into that direction. I could keep going because you've seen a million videos on this channel, bro. You already know what it is. And even if you don't watch my content enough, like you've seen a lot of post-wall content. You've seen a lot of these chicks who be doing these divorces. They don't be 22, bro. They don't be 25. I'm gonna keep it so real with you. You ready for the realness, the really, really realness? You ready? Brace yourself. When you see this content, all this divorce content, it'd be old white women, bro. It'd be white women that's, bruh, the really realness, they be looking like they 52, but they be like 36. Most of the chicks that you see doing that divorce content and shit, they might have been married 11 years, whatever the case may be, but they typically be in the ballpark from 35 to 45 years old. You rarely see like the 50s doing this stuff, but it'd be old white chicks doing all the divorce, man. Just divorce your man, divorce the good guy, and da-da-da-da-da. See, it's certain content sectors that like black women run or that black people run, and that 50-50 shit, we run that. That's just that's just what it is. But when it comes to the divorce sector, oh man, that's a white woman's playground, bro. You might see a black chick here and there, man, but bro, like, come on, man. Go to the Men Only channel. It's called Men Only, and watch all the divorce videos. You're gonna see nothing but white women, bro. And none of them are gonna be 22. Not one. But listen, I laid a lot out just to get to this point. If you were trying to date within your age bracket, the older you get, the more compromise you are going to have to make if you want to make something work or if you want to find a partner. Because these bitches only get worse. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, bro. I'm not about to sit on here and lie to you. I'm not about to sugarcoat it. I'm not about to even be politically correct. Bruh, that's just what it is. They get worse. They begin to look worse. Their psychology get worse. You would think that like time and a lot of shit would humble them and give them humility and no. They get more arrogant than they have ever been. The entitlement raises higher than it ever was. The mouth gets crazier than it ever was. They pop slick so crazy. So it's like you really, and that be the thing. Like some of this shit, when you dealing with a 20-year-old or early 30s chick, like you're still gonna have to deal with some of the same shit. You're like, so you haven't matured and like gotten all of this shit out your system as far as like this sassy snarkiness and all that shit, the malevolence that you have, like that you have developed towards men. It's like you haven't worked on shit, but you go to therapy every Thursday. You've been going to therapy for every Thursday for 20 years and you haven't improved at all. These chicks are not fucking wine. They are not wine. They do not get better with time. And I'm sure there are some women who are exceptions to the rule. But when we look at most of them, bro, like what, like, come on, man. Come on, man. Look at Vivica A. fucking Fox, man. She is 60. She got a BBL. She got a plump ass face, man. She didn't gain weight. She talking about some, oh, I'm ready to get back into dating. Her entitlement does not match where she is at in the dating market, bro. You got to think about it, bro. Vivica A. Fox used to be hot. She used to be one of the coldest chicks in the game. So think about that. She had that ego built up from being not just a beautiful woman, but one of the most beautiful women in the country as far as like, if we talking about pumping up the ego, you're being blasted nationally as this like beautiful woman and you're being put on a pedestal nationally as this. So that's the case. The ego is out of this world. And you could say the same thing for Melissa Ford. She was on a pedestal. I'm sure the ego was out of this world back then too for her. But these chicks get older, right? Melissa Ford still look cool. She still look cool. I'm not about to do that. She still look cool. When we talk about Vivica A. Fox, man, what the fuck are we talking about? Like, you still haven't learned how to be humble. I could understand you wanting what you want. I could understand that, but like, just the arrogance be insane, bro. So that, and look, yeah, she's famous and stuff like that, but she's a good representative of chicks who are in that age bracket, or even 50-ish, or even 45-ish, who have absolutely fell off. Like, it's an undeniable fall off, but the humility still isn't there, and they haven't gained anything as far as any type of mental progression that would make them better suited to add value to a man's life in a relationship. That's just what it is. So that's if you looking to date chicks your age. When you in your mid 30s, like I am, dating a chick in their 20s, that can be cool. And I'm talking from experience. That can be cool if they're in their late 20s. Me personally, and this is like when I was like 31, 30, 32. Bruh, dealing with chicks, my cutoff used to be 22. Because when you talk to chicks it's 20, I don't never talk to chicks that was like 19, 18. I'm cool on that at a certain point because it's just no. It's just no. But to me, 20, 21, 22, I've consistently witnessed like these are not mature women. They are too childish. I can't do it. That's me personally. So the cutoff point was 23. Like, I was mess with a 23-year-old, etc. I don't know if it's something in the Kool-Aid jammers they be making or the Capri Suns now, man. I can't remember when I tried to mess with like a 23 or 24-year-old, whenever it was, bro. I was like, nah, it's got to be 25 or better. So it's moved up for me. And it's not because of no like, oh, what will women think? And they'll call me a pedophile or something. I don't give a fuck about that. They be mad. They be mad. That's all it is. It just be shaming tactics. To me, it's more about compatibility and maturity. That's just what it is. So that's me in my mid 30s. Now, if the chick is super bad and she's 22, like I'm gonna do it. I'm not about to sit here and lie to you. I'm gonna do it. If she's super bad and shit, bro, I'm gonna do it. But I'm not actively searching out or pursuing though to like I'm cool on that. Now I say that to say, if you were an older dude, if you were 40 plus, like, do you really like? It's some dudes who can and want to deal with those 22-year-olds, and they don't see things the way I see it. Like their experience with these women, they can tolerate that experience. I can't. So if that's you and you want to do that, that's cool. But the thing that you got to know about that, you got to look at how you pulling them. You got to look at how you pulling them. And if money is involved, I know some of y'all like to hear that TK Kirkland, oh, a man is only worth as much as his last check bullshit. I know a lot of y'all like to hear that type of shit. This chick is not gonna love you, bro. I just need you to understand that. If you're there for a good time, that's cool, do that. Don't let that pussy get you tangled up and think you can have a relationship with her, bro. She's gonna eat you. She's gonna chew you up and spit you out, bro. And if you want to play the game, go ahead and play the game, man. I'm not mad at you. But my whole thing is, because I'm looking out for you, just don't become delusional. Don't think that she really into you, bro. Don't think that. And I'm talking about, this shit I'm talking about right here is specifically for 50 and up. But I'm not about to drag it. We already at 40 minutes, man. Listen, a lot of these chicks don't be qualified. And that's the thing. So like when we look at it like late 20s, early 30s, that might be like the sweet spot to where you could get, a lot, your bang for your buck type shit. But I just thought Cameron had a unique and interesting perspective, because he is 49. And I can't look at too many 49-year-olds, saying number one, that they envy people in love, but also that he don't love no hoes and he's still banging chicks and just running through them. Like you don't see that every day. So we had to highlight that today. Let me know your thoughts. I'm gone.